gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Universal Lens. I am John Emilio. That is not Henry Beltra. Henry is busy this week doing stuff, and I'm going to be out of town, so our schedules could not align. So I had the marvelous idea of inviting one of my best friends, Anthony Lisi.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me here, John. I really appreciate you letting me come on board today, especially Henry. Henry, thank you for letting me fill in for you today.
Yeah, you owe him $20, by the way.
20. I thought it was more than that. A little discount. But thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's very nice.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, man, absolutely. We do this a lot in my garage, just sitting around bullshitting. So the same way I started out with Henry, which was sitting around my island upstairs, smoking, having coffee and just bullshitting. Me and Anthony kind of do the same thing. In the afternoon, we'll have a cigar. You know, we do a lot. We do a lot of stuff together. We go to the gym together. We do a lot. We hang out, a lot actually. And we have a lot of the same conversations that I used to have with Henry, and I still have with Henry, obviously. But so I was like, you know what? Who can I have on? Because we want to get an episode in, not to have too big of a gap. And I'm like, I was looking at him. I'm like, we were talking about something. I was like, wow, that's a great topic, actually. I was like, would you like to be on the show? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've done 2 podcasts before, but they were through.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they were through the internet, so it wasn't face
just
to
face.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, just just put the mic a little closer to your face like that.
Yeah, so it wasn't face to face, but it was really nice. It was over the internet.
For who? Who was it for?
They were both police ones. About, my history and so on. And
former NYPD ESU Sergeant.
That's
I'm sure. I don't know if anybody in this listening audience would know him, but they might. You never know, right? You never
I had a good career. I had a good career in special operations. So I got around in New York City a lot. So I part of a lot of big terrorist jobs and stuff like that.
You see me piss him off, but firefighter.
Oh, geez.
Kidding. No, I'm not kidding. But I have friends who are firefighters, so I love everybody. I love you all the same.
They have a great job, that's for sure.
I love you all the same.
They have a great job. But I'm very happy to be here. And let me tell you, John and I were having such an interesting conversation yesterday. So interesting that's when he decided to ask me to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
It was very relatable. So just to give you a little bit of background, I retired 5 years ago from a very busy life, just nonstop. My life was going a million miles an hour.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then when you retire, it comes to a screeching halt. Screeching. I can tell you if a gnat farted in Afghanistan, the next day I retired, I couldn't tell you what was happening around my block. So it's very depressing. But I was getting over that. And then some other things happened to me that really sent me in a tailspin. And
life is life.
Yeah. And you know what? I hit rock bottom, and it was a terrible place, but it's a place of learning for sure.
Sure.
And then here comes John in my life. John comes along. We've been friends since high school.
Yeah, college roommates.
Yeah, college roommates. We lost a little touch during our professional careers. I was in the city. He moved out here, and then he had his career with the contracting business. But I tell you what, you talk about fate. We both are lucky enough to be retired.
I agreed.
Right? We're both lucky enough to be retired. Our families are fine. We're all set. And here we are. I moved to Monroe Township in New Jersey 2 years ago. And I happen to move around the corner from this guy.
The funny part was, and I guess because it's actually kind of funny. He sends me a text. His parents have lived in Monroe for years now, and his sister is in the town over.
Yep.
So he says, guess what? I'm moving to Monroe. I'm like, oh my God, that's great. He sends me a picture, like a Google Map picture. He goes, this is my house. So I sent him the picture back, and I circle. I go, this is my house, literally on the other side. There's a street that separates both developments. I'm on the other side of the street. He's like, no way. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, I mean, and oh crap. I've said this before. I thought I had it on mindfulness. I did. No, I didn't. Sorry about that. I've said this before. Like, I'm a big proponent of, you call it God, call it universe, whatever you want to call it. Right? Doesn't make a difference. 6 of one, half dozen the other. Like, puts people in places in certain times of your life if you're paying attention. Like, you got to pay attention to it's happening and realize that it's happening. And I think if you do that, like, you could rekindle something, or that, that's like, listen, your purpose right now is to be there, and don't question it, just be there. And then one day you realize, you're like, yeah, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be right now, and instead of looking. So that was a cool little
and you know what, being retired and talking to John and having that time to really communicate, we're like, holy cow, I mean, look at our lives, look how they just converged over here. And John having gone through what he'd gone through with his acceptance and commitment therapy. I wasn't there for that, but I heard a lot about it. And then what happened to me a couple of years ago was just as devastating in my life. And there's John to help me, move past it and refocus my attention where it belongs. And that is a difficult thing to do when you're at the bottom. But having a good friend to go, here, come on, put your hand on my shoulder. We're going to walk out of this. That's what you need in life. Somebody to help you to refocus.
I might cry. I'm
sure. No, but it's true. To have somebody in your life to help you refocus on what's most important. Because you know what? You could get lost in your depression. You can get lost in all that. And it's very difficult to come out of. And then when you have a buddy who could go, listen, I know the way out of this. Just follow me. And I found
it's a journey.
It's a journey. If you're looking for a quick fix, this isn't it. That's for sure. But it is a journey. And, John was kind enough to take me along on it. I found religion too. I was never religious. Okay. But
you were brought up Catholic.
I was brought up Catholic, but I consider myself more of a beginner Christian now, like more of a Bible based kind of thing. And I have to tell you, where John uses the words universe, I use the word God, and they do not conflict each other at all. And I was a little worried that they might, but they don't at all. You can have both in your life, and they're both extremely helpful.
The only way they conflict, those two worlds conflict, is if either of those people are so identified with what they believe that only what they believe is true.
Yes.
And that's it, instead of being open to saying, I believe this in this way and that way, and I believe these things, but I see the similarities between both.
I think and then a hardliner, like somebody who's really hardline on something that won't open his mind to anything else.
Oh shit, I know.
A lot of people like
this
that.
world has a lot of people like that.
Absolutely.
You could go from religion right to politics, right to everything else in life. It's people who are identified with, my way is the right way. I don't want to hear it, and so that's why you would think, right? Somebody who's more religious, like. I'm going to say box religion, just to give it an example, more box religion, like the actual words and the testaments and all that stuff, and as opposed to somebody who's like, I get all that too, and I believe and I feel that, and I think that's all great, and I see the similarities between it, and I'm like, I see the similarities between what you're saying and what I'm saying, and he says the same thing. So when you have that, like, it's a great example to show you that you don't have to be of the same background to be in the same tribe.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like I was talking to,
like, same corporation, different floor of the building.
Sort of. So we went out to dinner a few nights ago. I do this a lot. If you listen to 64 episodes, you hear me say this a lot. I'm going out to dinner. So we went
dinner guy right there.
We went out to dinner. Good thing we go to the gym now. We went to dinner on Friday night, and somebody texted me during the night. It was actually Henry's mother-in-law who follows the show. And I had mentioned something in a post about people who are there for you, not when it's just convenient for them, but when it's inconvenient for them, they're still there for you. I go, those are the real friends. So we love everybody in our lives who's in our lives, that they care about us. But the people you want to pay attention to, I said in that post, was the people who are there for you when it's not convenient for them to be there for you. Like right now, it's not a good time for me to be there for you, but I'm going to be there for you.
I'm so big on that, bro.
Yeah,
let me tell you something.
Loyalty, I know.
Loyalty is a very big thing to me. Like,
sure.
If someone is loyal to me in my life, oh man, I'll do anything for that person. If I'm your friend, I will do whatever it takes. And that's why when somebody doesn't reciprocate that, which I should expect, that doesn't always happen, it's very disappointing. It is. It's heartbreaking. It really is. Because when you pour yourself into something, you go, whatever you need. What do you need me to do? You need me to drive you here? Whatever you want me to do. I'm your friend. I'm loyal. I'll do it. And then when you can't even get like the slightest reciprocation, you're like, what the? So Bob Marley, I read a quote this morning. Bob Marley, out of all people. His quote is, real friends are like stars. You can only see them when it's really dark out.
Oh, I like that. Real friends are like stars. You can only see them when it's really dark out.
And isn't that the truth, right? When you are at your bottom, look to your left and your right. Those people who are standing with you.
That's true. I like that,
those are your friends. The ones that walked away, you know who they are? Users.
Yeah.
Because if people love you, they will never walk away from you.
No.
But if they're using you and you hit the fan, it's very easy to walk away. Very easy.
Oh, no, by the way, on this show, we can say shit.
Oh, sorry. When the shit hits the fan, it's easy to walk
I
away.
dropped the F-bomb quite a bit.
Well, I'm trying. My first time trying to watch my language. I don't want to get thrown
No,
off it.
what is it? Not the FCC. Who's the one for the
FCC?
FC? Yeah, I'm not getting a phone call. There's no 7-second delay.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as I don't say something that's politically incorrect, YouTube won't ban me.
But that's a big deal in my life, that friendship thing and that loyalty, only because it's still fresh in my head what happened to me and my rock bottom. And let me tell you something, lessons are learned at the bottom.
Of course they are.
If you think you're learning, you get a little hardship here and there and you're really picking up good lessons. Let me tell you something. I've had a very experienced life and I've never experienced what happened to me. And everything from there has been brand new, bro.
Yeah, and honestly, people, whoever's listening might be asking, okay, he keeps saying what happened to him. You can keep that private if you absolutely want. There's no need to go into that. So it's just an event that happened.
Terrible phase, yeah. It happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people. They just go through shit.
Yeah. You go through shit, and sometimes it lasts.
But you said something before, and this is where I remember before the show. You said to me, "You go, how are we gonna do this? Like you do with Henry, where Henry says something, and you kind of come in with the, with the outlook on it." And
we haven't really talked about what we were gonna do when we hit record. And I said, "Well, give me a little insight."
I said, "It's not live." I go, "If it's a shit show, we can it done." And we had a good time for an hour bullshit. Yeah. You said something before, and we had this conversation before. By the way, we haven't even started on the topic that we originally wanted to talk about.
It's very good.
This is what happens with me and Henry all the time. We want to start with here, but we end up talking about this. You said something before that, and this is more like to kind of enlighten people out there. So even though you give your friendship to somebody or you're there for somebody and they're not there for you, and you said something, it's disappointing, and it is disappointing on a certain level. But taking that, and this is where I throw my insights of caution to people who are listening. Be wary when that disappointment turns into disdain, or now you're actually carrying that anger. You're carrying that because all you're doing now, bitterness. You're carrying that bitterness. All you're doing now is you're carrying a poison that wasn't given to you.
That was the word I was going to use, is poison.
Yeah, somebody decides not to be there for you. That's on them.
You want to know the most powerful thing of that?
But it's being able to, and
it's your choice to walk away.
Yes, and
that is a powerful
and a lot of people are going to say, "How do you just drop it and let it go?" I'm pissed. I'm like, okay, I can understand the emotions there, but you still have a choice to follow that emotion or to say that is a rabbit hole. That's a black hole. Nothing comes out of that. Oh, I'm going to feel justified. And after you feel justified, how do you feel then? I don't know.
Revenge is another one too.
Yeah, you're going to keep going, and it's never. That's a beast. That's a wolf. That's never satisfied.
And what you don't realize is that the disappointment or revenge will eat you alive. You think it might be something positive, like, "Oh boy, I would love to get back at somebody," but let me tell you something. You thinking about that constantly. No loitering, right? Like on your website.
Oh, yeah, my website. Check it out. If I hit my blog today, No Loitering blog. That was a good one.
Yes.
JohnFEmilio.com.
And we talk about that all the time is it's okay to think about, to let it pass through a bad feeling, a thought, or something like. It's when you sit around and loiter on it that it becomes an issue and a problem that I've noticed.
Yeah.
It's okay. Listen, you're not going to be able to control your brain to say, "Don't think about this." Like, don't think about a zebra.
No,
what are you thinking about?
Sometimes
you can't do that to somebody. So what John is trying to teach.
Picture Madagascar in my head now.
Well, John and Henry, I think, are trying to teach. Listen, let that pass through. You're not going to be able to control it to say, "I don't want to think about that issue anymore."
Do you think we've talked a couple times?
John's helped me out. Let me tell you something. John's helped me move through a lot of things, and through that, I've been like, "Holy shit, this is pretty good, John. Teach me some more." And that's where I ran into a little problem because I'm a simpleton. Okay, I need.
No, you're not.
Where do I start? How do I start this process of healing?
So that's not simpleton. That's actually willingness. Big, see,
true. Yeah,
language. Gotcha. That's actually what most people out there don't have when it comes to wanting to get through something is a willingness to do the uncomfortable shit that's needed. I don't want to say that you have to do because you don't have to do anything like that. That's required to get through something you want to get through. And if you have that willingness, it's like that player on a team goes, "Coach, what do I have to do? I need you to run through that wall. I'm going through that wall. Coach, what do you need to do?
Will that make me better?
Will that make me, Coach, what do you need to do?" And I'm using just a sport analogy, so just to give you something to reference it to. That athlete who listens to his coach and is willing to do whatever is required to get through that, while it's a different different thing you're going through with athleticism and this with athletes with
Same concept,
but
I
same
get you, yeah.
concept.
The willingness to put in the work.
Yeah,
that
to be
is what
like,
it comes down
I
to.
got to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes, you got to sit with these feelings. Yes,
Everybody wants to be great. Are you willing to do the work to become
everybody
great?
wants.
Not everybody's willing to do that.
But so I saw a post today by Gary. You know Gary V? He's we were talking about like the godfather of influences.
Oh,
he's
okay.
like the godfather of influence.
Mm.
I mean, he's entertaining. I see some of his stuff, but he's very big with like follow what you want to, like do what you want to do in life. Like, don't listen to the masses.
But you also have to accept the consequences of doing exactly what you want to do.
But he said something, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I remember exactly what his post was. But it was in reference to, you want to be great. It requires, like, if you want to be great at influencing,
whatever
it requires X amount of work. You want to be great at your job, it requires X amount of work to get it. He goes, and if you want to live a quiet life in the suburbs, away from everybody by yourself, he goes, in a third world nation, he goes, that's great, do that too. He goes, but you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't say, I want to be known and I want to be successful, but I want to live by myself. I don't want to be around anybody. I don't want to do things, but I want to be known. I want to be successful and I want to have everything, but I don't want to be bothered with people. He goes, you can't have your cake and eat it. He goes, you can live either life you want.
Right.
He goes, and the beauty part, he goes, is either life is right. There's no wrong answer.
But you can't say I want to be a major league ball player and not put in the practice and the work.
Yeah.
That's what I know you're getting at.
Yeah. So that's
listen, if you want to be a lazy guy and live in the woods and watch TV, you could do that too. But then accept what you want.
People join Buddhist monasteries and spend 16 years in silence. But this is what
they want.
They want to live a life of pure silence. They don't need to have a Ferrari, 4 houses, and not that chasing monetary, because that's a whole different conversation. Where I think you just feed another beast. But if you want to be just great at something because you're passionate about it, then the monetary rewards that come afterwards.
It's not work anymore once you're passionate about it.
Huh?
It's not work anymore once you become passionate about something.
But you can still put 100% effort into something that you're passionate about, right? Yeah.
Well, if you're passionate about it, you will put 100% effort in, and it won't even feel like an effort.
Yeah.
Because like I was passionate about what I did for a living.
Yeah.
And I loved going. I had so many days built up because I hated taking the day off because I wanted to be there when the big one hit. I wanted to be there with my guys to mitigate it, whatever it might be, and that was my passion, and the constant training and so on. Listen, there were a lot of guys who didn't do that, and we knew who they were.
Yeah, and listen, not everybody who puts on a uniform.
If you want to be at the top, you want to be the top 10%, then you're gonna have to put it in.
But you do, and again, right? If you don't want to be the top 10%,
fine. It's okay, but then don't complain that you're not in the top 10%.
Yeah, so you're not in the top 10%, and I think that what Gary Vee was saying, which kind of parlayed into what you were saying before when you said I'm a simpleton. I was like, no. I go, you're not a simpleton. You were willing to listen to my jibber jabber, which sounded like Chinese in the beginning.
Oh my God.
And now maybe it sounds like Spanglish, right?
What do you want me to accept, John?
now it starts to make, it's one of those things where it starts to make more sense. That's why
it completely does.
Yeah,
it completely does. And
this is something that, like, if I work with somebody, like one session, and I hate to say this, I wish one session. I mean, one session could get it for somebody if they're already far along on the path and they just want to go over some stuff. But if somebody who's just not into, like, doesn't understand any of this, it's something that takes, unfortunately, they have to hear it and then practice it, it and practice
what it is.
To where you actually rewire your subconscious mind to think that way and not fight you on everything. So now it's easier for you to shift. And this is what we were getting into before.
And that's a word you hit on, was rewiring. Yeah. Because if it's just something like, John, tell me what to do to get out of this pit I'm in. And I kept on looking at John for an answer. Like, tell me how the hell to get out of this. And John's like, it just doesn't work. And I was frustrated at first.
I was too, by the way. Not with him, but when I was going through it, there was times I'm like,
I'm sure. In the beginning, you're like, what do I got?
You want an answer, but then you
give me the magic pill.
But then you taught. The answer is, and this was I was told by, wasn't my therapist who told me this?
But to rewire takes time. To rewire anything takes time.
No, but she might have told, somebody would have told me, she goes, the answer is, I forgot where I heard. I don't know if it was her or if it was a spiritual teacher. I'm not sure. But she was like my guru anyway.
So many things being thrown at you.
She was like, no. She said, the answer is, or it was her or somebody else. The answer is, there is no answer. And when I heard that, that was like, wait a second. There is no, so I kept looking for something that didn't exist. Remember, the mind wants to keep looking for a reason for justification of, comparison to. That's what it's built to do. Once you start understanding that that's what it does, you get to choose to follow it when it wants to do that, or you get to choose not to follow it, and you could easily shift. Like we use the word shift a lot, and this is how the show this is the whole point of the show. Is how do you shift? So how do I shift my perspective from the thought that's telling me I should be we'll go back to I should be justified. Screw that guy. He wasn't there for me, blah, 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 to the focus that goes, yes, he wasn't there for me, but I want to invest my energy into my life. How do I shift that focus when something like that? So the go over here, it's I want to shift my focus into what I want, isn't as loud in your mind as the voice that says, fuck no, why
You know
X,
how old
Y,
that
Z?
voice is? 50 years old.
Yeah.
So you're trying to rewire 50 years of hardwiring. It's already there. So what you're trying to do is now you got a bunch of wires in your hand. You're like, help me rewire, John. Is red to red? What are we doing? Blue to blue? And I'm looking for an answer from him. And John's giving me, I don't have the answer, but I could train you and show you step by step how to shift your brain from what you're constantly thinking about. Let's reshift it to something more important. That's whether it be your family, whatever it might be. But instead of constantly thinking about what's bringing you down, and it's okay to visit it. It's just a visit, though. Like John tells me, like we talked about yesterday, no loitering. It's okay to visit. Don't hang around. That is where you get into then you're in this quicksand and you're already up to your waist. Good luck trying to dig yourself out. But if you just run over the quicksand, probably be a lot easier than just standing on it and sinking.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Huh.
Yeah.
See,
but
every once in a while I get a good analogy.
No, but that's why I thought, see, I love the guy to death. He's a great one of my best friends. But that's why I was like, you know what? Hold on a second. If because if me and Henry can't do it, I'm like, by the way, we might get a third chair for this because I'm loving the way this is feeling right now.
I feel good too.
And you met Henry already, and you guys jive. Yeah, he's a great guy. So we might have to get a bigger table with 3 chairs and like expand this a little bit.
Well, I'm almost like his little mouse in the cage, like a little experiment almost. I feel like one of his.
Do what I say.
Well, John's also in the beginning phase of he learned what he needs to learn, still learning, but he's learning how to present it to people, which is difficult.
Oh God, that's not easy.
And I want to get into how
we need a marketing
the
major
analogy
here.
For me that brought me to understand what he's talking about. You mind if I go into that?
No.
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right. I didn't know if you had something else you wanted to talk about. So John and I were having lunch in the Poconos.
Food again.
We're always eating something. I don't know what it is. Shit. Matter of fact, it wouldn't be bad to have a burger here is all I'm saying. But anyway, we're talking and he's trying to tell me how he refocuses his mind from whatever it might be. So he's not loitering on a bad thought, and how he leaves the thought there and he's able to pay attention to something else. And I just wasn't jiving with it. I'm like, John, what the hell are you talking about?
Jubilee?
Is that Jubilee?
Yeah, Jubilee.
So then he turned around, and I don't know what made him think about this, but he put it in a way that it freaking clicked with me, especially from where I come from. So I came from special operations where we listen to 4 different radios at the same time.
In the truck, yeah.
And I was very good at this. And my wife always said, like, how do you listen to me and only pick out certain words? Again, another analogy. But if I have 4 radios in front of me and each one has a different station on that I'm listening to around the city, paying attention, and something cracks off on one of them, the other 3, I also hear the noise in the background, but I'm listening word for word on that one specific radio. And when he said that to me, I was like, John, you hit it. I go, so you're saying you're still hearing the other 3 in the background, not concentrating on them, you're not loitering there. Can you visit them? Yeah, you could visit them. I could go to either one, but I'm paying attention to one that's the most important at that moment.
We were talking about my tinnitus.
Yes.
That was it. We were talking about my tinnitus when the ringing in the ears and how I was at that. I'm still learning it, right? And I'm only 2 months in, and it's gotten a hell of a lot better. And it's gotten a hell of a lot better. It was very frustrating, but I'm learning how to hear it as background noise, and then it disappears, the background noise for a while. Mm-hmm. Then it comes back, and sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's not. But I'm able to and this was from years of what I
saw it on his face at lunch. I saw he was distraught in the fact that with everything he knows about acceptance,
I was learning again. I was
yes.
relearning again.
And with everything he knows about it, it was another learning curve. He's like, this is in my head. How do I
it doesn't
get rid of this?
Life doesn't
and
stop.
what did I say to you?
But this is applicable to everything in life. That's the beauty of it.
And then as he told me the radio thing, I turned to him and he still had that look on his face. I go, pay attention to me, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And concentrate on my voice.
Yeah, and you hone in.
And you know what? He looked at me, he goes, geez, man. And you know, we're learning together because it is a very good therapy, and it just takes time to learn it. And we all actually have the ability. Listen, if there's husbands and wives out there and your wife is consistently talking to you like mine does, you got to pull out a couple of words, the important ones.
She might watch
this. I have a feeling she might. So, but when it's
we love you, Steph.
It's constant. And then you got to pick up the important words, which is what I used to do with the radios. And then when she hits on a key word, whatever I'm doing, whoop, I turn around and I'm paying attention, you know?
So you were used to doing it, let's say, in the truck with the radios, right? So it became second nature.
Yeah.
So, and this is going to partner with me with tinnitus, right? Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, something happens and your mind starts going everywhere. How come that skill disappears all of a sudden? So now the skill that you used to pick out radios and to focus where you wanted, and the answer is obvious, but I mean, it's because it felt different, is what happened to you. Like, it threw you for a loop. Now, all of a sudden, even if you wanted to apply that, you probably couldn't at that moment.
No, but you do know how.
No, but
John knows how to put up this wall, right? John's a
you know how to do it now,
but
yeah.
I'm sure when he put the wood on the floor, he sat there for a minute and went, "How exactly am I going to do this?"
Yes,
that pulling back to, okay, let me concentrate on how to get this done. I think it's the same thing because you have it in your head. You just got to sit there for a second and go.
Yeah,
you know
so I was actually talking about for you, like when you, like what happened with you when you went through that thing last year. Mm-hmm. How if even when I was trying to explain this to you last year, I'm trying to make a point here. When I was trying to explain this to you last year, and it was hard for you to grasp, but even though you already had this, so you had the skill,
I didn't understand,
but you didn't understand how to use the skill.
Yes.
So your brain learned how to do that on its own, right? Mm-hmm. Like it learned over time, like
again, over time.
Oh, listen. So it knew how to apply this tool in this setting, and maybe at home or with people. But now something new comes along, and this new thing that came along feels really different. Externally, it is different, right? It's a different circumstance. Mm-hmm. But the process that you would use to be able to reshift your focus from this one thing to where you want it is the same.
It is, but
it feels different and heavier.
Way different, yeah.
And this is where we kind of sometimes we kind of lock a little bit. I'm like, even though it feels different, it's not different. Yeah. And it's not. So the process,
the foundation is the same.
Yeah, the process doesn't change.
He's right.
So when I
have to argue with him like we always do, but he's right. Yeah, he's right.
With the obsessive compulsive disorder, I thought I got it. Right, the anxiety, I was like, I got it. And if I was a little bit of depressing, okay, I understand what my mind is doing. Here comes this tinnitus, and I'm like, well, this isn't a thought. This isn't a thought. My mind, I got stuck on this isn't a thought. How do I work around this? This isn't a thought. Where I didn't realize, wait a second, and then I did realize it. Acceptance. Accept that it's there. Treat it like background noise, which is kind of like what you do with the radios. Allow the background noise to be there. Doesn't mean it goes away. At times it does. At times it doesn't. The more I talk about it, the more I hear it. That's just because I'm actually bringing it up to my mind. And I say the word and my mind goes, yep, it's still there because it never stops the ringing. It's constant. At least I think it is. I don't know. It ebbs and flows. But
you would say it's a day-to-day exercise. It's a day-to-day exercise.
That's one thing we always say on the show, me and Henry, is this is not a one and done. It's a practice, but the practice gets easier, and then you start to realize this is the beauty of it. You could apply it to
almost
a disease,
everything.
A sickness, a family member getting ill, a crisis in your family.
And John's not telling you to be unemotional or not be in the moment about something.
You feel everything.
Yeah, if something happens,
feeling the emotion.
You're in a rut for a day. I get it. Something
you
happens.
Can feel the emotion and still focus your energy where you want it to be. I'm not happy every day.
There's going to come a time where something
should you be happy every day?
Something that's dragging you down will keep you down.
Yeah.
That's where you don't want it to happen. Listen, somebody passes away in your family, you're depressed for a while. It happens. But then over time, if you don't get your ass out of bed and start concentrating on what's important,
this is the cop in him.
Self-discipline to me is a big deal. It's just, and I've learned a lot through self-discipline.
So there's a lot to be said for that. Yeah. So you're going to call it self-discipline. I'm going to call it willingness. the willingness to
Fine,
get up.
yeah.
So you say, and this is where I'm still not working with him. This is one thing I tell my practice clients and the one client that I have right now. Anybody else out there, come on board.
I'm telling you, John. Can I say this?
Yeah.
John really has grasp on what he's doing, and he is very good at telling you or working with you on getting you to understand, because it's taken a while, but he finally got through to me.
Yeah.
Out of all the things he was saying, boom, he hit one thing and it clicked. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but I
it's
just
okay.
want to say
I
was giving you a little props at the same time.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And you know, it's you know, it's I do it, but I do it what I'm doing. I'm there and I talk to a friend, if it's a friend, if it's you, if it's somebody else, because they want it, they want, and
I'm lucky enough that the guy lives around the corner.
Yeah. I always felt like I was my purpose, the point I'm here is to just help, and whoever needs the help, if I can help them in a way, I try to help them. I try to make them understand. But I've also run into people who don't want to hear it, and those people who don't want to hear it, I'm not a pill pusher. Like, you know, I'm not trying to sell you drugs.
You gotta move on.
So it's like, all right,
they'll come to you when they want help.
When somebody is ready. So what I was saying before is the language that we use. Like you said before, I'm depressed, right? You get depressed if somebody dies in your family, right? And as I say, one thing I'll tell my clients when I talk to them, or anybody I'm talking to, I go, watch the words that come out of your mouth. And that's one of my posts from a couple of days ago.
This is a religious side too.
I am depressed. No, you're not. I'm experiencing sad feelings. Yes, you are. When you say I am depressed, you have identified and labeled yourself as something. Your mind is not stupid. Your mind hears that and goes, we're fucking depressed.
The religious side says the same exact thing. Be careful how you talk about yourself, because your brain will start to believe.
Yeah.
So if you, on the other hand, start talking positive about yourself. Hey, I'm going to get this done today. I feel good. I'm going to go get the best exercise I can.
Positive affirmations. Yeah.
And you'll see how that changes your life. And that's something I've learned too. Yeah. You can convince yourself that you're depressed. You can convince yourself it's a horrible life. You can convince yourself, but
you don't have to, because that'll be your experience. You're not even convincing yourself.
You could also convince yourself about the positive things in your life.
You can.
Self-discipline, refocus your attention instead of the shit. Pay attention to there are positive things in everybody's life.
But so it's not just saying the positive thing. It's okay. Wow. Yeah. So that I agree with you.
Hold on, let me get a shovel. We're about to go deep.
No, I agree with you 100. I agree with you 110%. I agree with you 110%. Coming from the obsessive compulsive disorder world, we were taught, and it's still absolutely true. Thought replacement doesn't work. So, like, if I'm scared of a thought, I don't try to say, well, that's not true, I'm a nice guy, right? Or whatever. If I had a thought of, like, mine was harm OCD. I'm a nice guy. Why would I have that thought? I'm a nice guy. That doesn't work, because your mind. But
you're right. I don't know if it applies to this one, because positive thinking about yourself, I mean, how could it be bad?
No, it's not. But it's, you could have that positive thought if there's a change you're looking to make with it, and not just a conversation in your head. So, like, I feel like crap today. I don't want to do. My mind says I'm low. I'm depressed. I'm upset. I'm this. I'm that thing. Okay. Instead, I look at it this way. I tell my mind, "Hey, thank you very much. That's great, but
I'm going to the gym anyway.
I'm going to do this today.
I'm going to the gym anyway.
I'm going to do this today. I'm going to work on my website. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to post something."
And you want to know a good part about that?
That
forget about that other stuff, because
the action doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, he's 100% right.
Yeah,
you refocused.
The action is where you rewire, not in just the words. Like, I could say all day, I do Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations. I haven't mentioned them to you, right? And one of them is,
he's like the only guy I know that goes to the gym and listens to meditations. I don't know where he gets the energy to lift weights while listening to this.
I'm listening to talk. I'm listening to Eckhart Tolle, Dr. Stephen Hayes.
I have Metallica on
in the background, just whispering to me about, you're not your thoughts, you're not this, and I'm listening. Oh, we're lifting weights, but for me, I'm rewiring my subconscious brain. I just want to feed my mind. I want to feed my mind that. I just want to feed my mind that stuff.
But we're talking about redirecting your focus.
Yeah, redirecting your focus. So there was an example that he gave in my garage. I forgot how we got in the conversation. He gave an example in my garage, and he said, we were talking about reshifting your focus, and he said when he was in the training, he was in the academy.
Let me tell him how.
He was in the academy.
So anyway, when I was in the academy, which was about 28 years ago, right?
He's old.
I'm old. So you're running and you're running and you're running. You're on like mile 3 every day. We're running about 3 miles. And right, right around mile 2, get that bead of sweat. It's coming right down your
Mile
face.
2, that's good.
Well, I'm sure there was more sweat. I just wasn't paying attention. Around mile 2, you're paying attention to everything. Yeah, your feet are hurting. Everything's hurting. Your shins. So there's a bead of sweat coming down your face. It's tickling every pore
Yeah.
on the way down. And if an
One of those.
instructor saw you touch your face, he went absolutely ballistic on you. Ballistic, right?
Yeah.
So you learn, and as you're running, you're like, I just want to wipe why can't I just wipe the sweat off my face? And you don't learn until years and years later. It was self-discipline. The lesson was self-discipline. So let me tell you how it applies. So being from special operations, you find yourself in the low-income housing, let's just say, instead of the projects. You're on the 8th floor. It's a hot August day.
Yeah.
I have all this gear on, and here comes the sweat under your helmet. Very easy to wipe it. No one's going to yell at you if you do.
No, yeah,
but your hands are filthy.
Sure.
I have gloves on that have touched things that probably shouldn't have been touched. Okay. So the discipline of not touching your head and getting the germs and disgusting stuff all over your face, that's self-discipline. That's how you pull yourself away and go, hold on, let me not think about that sweat. I know there's a bead of sweat coming down my face. That's not the most important thing right now.
Yeah.
The most important thing is that guy on the other side with a gun on the other side of the door. So if you think about it, that bead of sweat wants your attention. It is touching every port. It's screaming, look at me. Pay attention to me. And if you can concentrate and self-direct away from that and go, yeah, there's a bead of sweat coming down. That's not a big deal. I'm going to, you know what I got to keep on doing? Putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
And running. That's it. That was the most important thing. So when we brought that up, he's like, oh, man, that's a great analogy. And for me, like I said before, I need to apply how it applies to me. And we found how it applies.
Examples from your life. Sure.
And you'll see with clients, getting that connection of how they can relate to it.
Absolutely.
Probably for you would be one of the most important things as a therapist or a life coach is, let me see how I can get this through to you. Because it's not just the general population. It's how am I going to talk to Anthony Lisi or John Emilio?
Unfortunately, sometimes,
yeah. But that's the hardest part for you, I think, is figuring out that way
takes,
in. Yeah, that way in.
Sometimes that takes a little bit of time to get to know the person and to get a little bit more about their life. Sometimes you get there right away with somebody because they'll and what we call emptying out. They'll empty out so much in the beginning that you already like start to put a picture together of what their life is like, how their mind works, what they're, what they're.
But like you were talking before, if you have a willingness to want to learn it, you will find an application in your life that applies to it. Just like I did with the radios, just like I did with the sweat. So John's bringing up topics, and I'm saying to myself, how do I not think too hard about that and reconcentrate on that? And then the sweat thing came up, and then the radios thing came. So for me in my life, in my 20-something year career, it applied. It may not apply to John, it may not apply to you, but for me, it applies.
It hits home.
It just clicked.
Everybody has so everybody has what we call aha moments. But here's the beauty of aha moments: they're not one and done. So your brain will acclimate to that one aha moment, and it's going to be like, okay, it might give you a but. So we all have aha. Yeah,
it's one step closer to understanding.
But so there's, I think the understanding part happens. And this is where it gets a little heady then, because people are like, well, how do I get to there? Or I'm like, well, I'm just like, where is there? What do you mean there?
Yeah.
Like to where you are.
You know what?
Where am I?
I'm like, you'll go anywhere but the bottom. So I'm like, ask John, get me out of here,
but I also like, your mind is telling you you're there. You don't have, the bottom could actually be the middle. But you're perceiving it as perception. Everything in life is perception. If we perceive our life to be shit, and I've said this before on the podcast, guess what? Your life is shit. Mm-hmm. If you perceive your life to be sad and depressing, guess what? Your life is sad and depressing. I understand external circumstances, practicality, things happen in life that are not fun and happy. Some shit happens in life that's unfortunate. I get all that. But our perspective is still the most important part. Do we want to shift our perspective to say, hey, listen, am I going to listen to my mind that keeps telling me, like, keep looking for the next great thing, keep looking, what's my purpose, what do I do now, and what do I do now? Instead of saying, this is what I'm doing now, and yeah, maybe I want to do this, and I'll work towards this, or this is kind of something I'm interested in. I'm not interested in how it happens. This is what I want to do right now. I'm not interested in the house or what I want to do. And the same thing with this. So you're interested in learning how to apply mindfulness to your life, how to apply acceptance to your life. Great. We could work together. We sit down and we talk. You can listen to the podcast. You could go on YouTube and, oh my God, tons of spiritual teachers, people who talk about the mindfulness, therapists talk about mindfulness. It's all over the place. And you could start to learn what it's all about without worrying about, I want to get there. Because I tell people, you know what there is? That's when you die.
Yeah, don't worry about the destination.
Because the destination.
Worry about the
journey.
The journey.
Yeah.
That's
As Eckhart Tolle said, he goes, we're all on a train. He goes, and I have a spoiler alert. He goes, the train, it's a deadly, horrible crash at the end.
Yes.
He goes, nobody gets off.
We're all dying.
Yeah. He goes, and this is a very, enlightened person. And when he said it, everybody started cracking up. And he's sitting there laughing. And he's like, he goes, but it's true. He goes, nobody gets off the train. He goes, so don't worry about the end of the trip. He goes, and it's the path and the journey you're on that's important. And during the path, your mind's going to want to tell you why this path is the worst. My life is the worst. Or the best one, right? This happened to me 3 days ago. I said it to my wife, and I caught myself as I said it. I instantaneously went like, "Wow!" Automatic response. So I forgot what happened. I don't remember what happened now. And I looked up, and I looked at my wife. I go, "What the hell? Just my luck." And she looked at me because she knew. She's like, "Why are you saying that?" I looked, and I'm like, "Okay, I get it. Yes, that was a reaction." I go, "Yes, I know. My mind. Thank you, mind. I appreciate it." I forgot.
It feels like the world's shitting on you sometimes. That's for sure.
Yeah, you just like it was like I don't know, something happened that day where it was like a slap in the face and then a gut punch, and I was like, all right. But for a second, okay, we're all human, so that's gonna happen. That like none of us are gonna be perfect at this. And if anybody out there thinks that they are gonna be perfect at it, then it's gonna be a very bumpy road for you the whole time.
It's a great tool. Let's say it is like a tool like you have in your garage, and you need to take it out and every once in a while and try it out.
This is a tool that you want to keep in your tool belt. Like, this is like the multi-tool. You know that tool that this is one of those screwdrivers. There's 48 different
the Gerbers. Yeah, plenty of them.
Yeah. So this is what that is. This is like that ultimate multi-tool that no matter what's happening in life, it can be applied, but and I'll say this again, not applied to make you feel better in that moment. To apply to get you moving in the direction you wanted to live a valued and meaningful life in that moment. Like people like, I want to feel better. I'm like, that's great. We all want to feel better. My job's not to make you feel better right now. I could say something that might make you feel better, but once we get off the phone or we talk,
it wouldn't be therapy then.
You're not going to feel better. Your mind's going to give you a reason why what I said was bullshit, or it's going to have another question. Yeah. It's not about feeling better, but if you do the work, a symptom of the work is feeling better. Yes. But people look, I want to feel better. I'm like, you don't get to the feel better right away.
It's at the end.
If you're willing to do the work, a symptom of doing the work, and then the work's going to give you a symptom. Like if you take a pill, you might have a side effect, right, with it. If you do this, a symptom of doing this, or I should say a side effect, actually, a side effect of doing this work, a side effect of it is you'll feel better. It'll trickle in. It might trickle in quicker for some people, maybe a little longer for others. It might ebb and flow where you'll feel better and then it won't, but it'll be there. But don't make that the goal. The goal is to refocus what you want to do in your life in spite of the stories that are in your head.
In other words, if you took a piece of paper and wrote down the thing that's bothering you, and on the other side, you wrote down the good things in your life, I'll almost guarantee you that list of good things is way longer than the thing that's bothering you, or the things that might be bothering you. And that's where the positivity comes into place is, hey, I got all these awesome things going on in my life. Why am I paying attention to these too? I have great things going.
It's the mind.
It's the
mind. The mind's always going to gravitate towards the shit. It's trying to protect you from something that it's assuming or calculating as negative or bad. That's all it's trying to do.
It is a journey though, and it takes a little time. I'm in the midst of it. I'm lucky enough that I get a therapy session every time we have a cigar. So it works out perfect, for me. And you know what? I think John picks up some things too from my life experience. And, we both have life experiences. And then he has this training on top of it.
I pick up every day.
The guy you see in front of you right now, this isn't the guy I went to high school with or college. Let me explain.
I was younger.
We were all younger, but what I mean is that time that we were apart, or we weren't as in contact with each other for 20 years or so, a lot of things happened to John. And when we reconnected, he's a different person. And I got to tell you, I'm impressed by how he's worked on himself. He's changed a bunch of things. He's still John, but His outlook on life is different, and it's calmer and more peaceful. And I don't think there's anybody who wouldn't want that in their lives. I mean, so if he can help me get to that place of tranquility and peace where not everything is a devastating blow, and John settles me a little bit on some of those things, he's like, all right, okay, it happened. Let's get back in the gym. Oh, let's go do something. Let's go have a cigar. And you know what? Within minutes, he's right. We're talking, and you're not even thinking about it.
Well,
It pops into my head, but I'm
more
more interested in what we're talking about than that.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Refocus.
That's refocusing and reshifting,
but that comes with self-discipline.
Putting your energy into what's important in your life right now, because life only happens in the present moment. Even tomorrow doesn't look. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Yesterday doesn't exist. So the only thing that is actually ever happening is living in this moment. Now people are like, well, how do I plan for the future? You can still plan for the future.
Yeah,
you could have futuristic thoughts, absolutely. To plan something for the future. But if you're constantly living in a world of
loitering,
then if you're loitering in a world of then, of that, there or then or there or then or there or then, and never now, that's when you start to get you end up waking up one day and you're like, I'm 75 years old and I haven't lived yet. Like I haven't lived. I've been living to plan or to reminisce. To plan or to reminisce. To plan. I could plan and be present. I could reminisce shortly and be present again. And I can actually experience life as it's happening. And that's where the practice really comes into work, where I could say, can you watch yourself think and realize that you're not the one who's thinking? And most people kind of like give you the dog, huh? Like, what do you mean? So I'll have a thought and I'll be like, I'll look at that thought and go, I know I know that thought. I know where I could see that thought. I could see how that thought wants to be there, but that's not my thought right now because I don't agree with it, nor do I like it, nor do I need it to be here right now. And I can and I'll refocus. Again, it's not always easy, but I can refocus on what I want to do. Even if it's barking at me, I'll say, okay, we're going to still go to the gym. Like he'll tell me sometimes in the gym, John, he goes, you're quiet today.
I can tell.
All right.
Something's up.
So I'm quiet. It's not even something's up.
But usually admit to me something like the ringing is getting to me and I'm concentrating.
Well, I'm thinking, I'm refocusing. I'm here with you, but I'm just refocusing on where I got to be right now. That's it.
I would think that'd be the topic of this whole discussion, refocusing.
Because we're not,
with self-discipline.
If you think everything's always going to be automatic in life, like it's just going to be automatic, things are going to be automatic, like, and this is a trap that everybody falls into. I got it. This is how it always has to be now. Oh, kick to the nuts coming. Spoiler alert. Like a hard one is going to come if you think that. I thought that in December, I got 2 shots, boom, boom, right between the legs, put me down. I literally went down. I got up. I had made 1 phone call and I was told, no, you didn't get 2 kicks to the nuts. You think you did. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I thought I did. And I just got back up on my horse and I refocused. And like what took years to get to for me the first time took days, to kind of reacclimate back to it because I just said, oh, hold on a second. I got too comfortable. I started believing that I knew it all. I actually started believing my mind and my mind said I could just whoosh things away. And then I got something that I couldn't whoosh away and it threw me for a loop. So it's not about being perfect at it. It's not about thinking that you have the answers because it works. It's about realizing that it will always work, the practice, but it doesn't mean that it's going to make you feel better every time you implement it. It just means that you're not going to be on pause when it happens. You'll actually be able to re-engage in your life.
Yeah.
And
if you have willingness though, you're going to want to learn every day.
Oh yeah, you're going to want to learn.
If you're not wanting to, like
even in my profession, the beauty of having the mind.
Even in my profession, there are people who think they know. My former profession, there are people who thought they knew everything, and those were the worst people. You want to know who the best people were? The people who came in, woke up every morning, go, I want to learn something every day. And that's what I do with John. I'm like,
you want to learn something?
I'm open. I'm open to tell me something, John, and let me digest it.
But I think that's a very, just in general in life, that's a very healthy way to be. Is to be.
I think it applies. Right?
Open-minded.
Yeah.
Open-minded meaning my way doesn't have to be the best way or the right way. There might be a better way. I'm open to hearing what you have to say. I'm open to hearing your opinion. even if I don't agree with it completely, but I'm open to seeing, because I might see something in what you're saying that actually resonates with what I'm thinking and opens up another door for me that I didn't know was even there. Right? That's the beauty of it.
Can I tell them a little something? John and I, we do volunteer work, and this is something actually John got me into. And
Special strides?
We do both. We do something called special strides, which is we walk with the children who are handicapped on horses. It's
and bale hay sometimes. We love you guys.
We're doing a little bit of baling, but we do that, and we also work at a food pantry where we pick up donated goods from stores and we bring it to the food pantry for people who don't have enough.
Props to Walmart.
Yes, New Life Food Pantry too. So John and I started doing that, and I read a quote, and I just wanted to share it with everybody. And it says, if you want to feel better in life, no matter what it is, work on helping other people feel better, and you will start to feel better. Oh,
absolutely.
Yourself. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you how that applies.
Where'd you hear that?
I got ways. I read things too, pal. And let me tell you something. The volunteer work, John and I really get a sense of good feeling for it. Let me tell you something. When you see a young handicapped kid learn something so simple that we take it, for granted, whether it be putting a ring on a cone or that he's never done before, that
you get joy out of it.
Special. Yeah,
you get joy
with
the kid.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
You feel good, don't you?
Yeah. I'm not even the therapist.
But that's what I'm saying. Concentrate on helping other people feel good, and you won't even realize it. How much that'll make you feel good.
Yeah, helping people.
These are little lessons I've learned over the last couple of years that, let me tell you something, I've learned a lot.
So every time, I've spoken about this with Dr. Tatiana off, like when we just had like these chats. And one of the things I tell her, I go, and I said, when I'm helping somebody, I feel like I'm helping. She goes, like you're therapizing yourself. I go, yes. She goes, it's like you're giving yourself a free therapy session when you're helping somebody else come out of or deal with something that you're very skilled in and you know about and you understand. I'm like, yes. She's like, yes. Because you reinforce what you know. You reinforce what works. You reinforce this great thing.
Good feelings get good feelings, bro. That's the way the world goes around.
It's reinforcing this great, this nice thing that you're trying to do, that you're trying to teach somebody. You reinforce it in yourself. And that is, by the way, part of rewiring yourself also. So the more people, I help people, not because I'm trying to, or like whether I'm talking to him or to Henry or to a client or to somebody I who just happens to be like, hey, listen, can we get together for a cup of coffee? No problem. I don't help them because I'm trying to help myself. I help them because I genuinely love to help people, and for I feel like my purpose is to be an outlet for people who want to plug in. Like, okay, the universe put me here. I have to be an outlet. I don't know how I'm going to have. I don't know if this ever goes anywhere. If this
don't worry about that.
Exactly, but I know I want to be an outlet. But when they plug into me, I feel like I'm not just giving; I'm getting back also.
That's exactly what I said. Yeah, you want to feel good?
Yeah.
Help others feel good.
Henry said this. He said this one of the earlier episodes, and I can't remember what it was. Where their energy, like energy vampires, like certain people just want to take, but they don't want to give back to you. So when you're helping somebody who was willing to hear you,
those are those users that walk away when times get tough.
Yes, they're energy vampires. There's no back and forth. So when I'm working, whether I'm talking with you or not you, but Henry, whoever it might be, right? Mm-hmm. My clients, they want to hear what I'm saying. That was my wife.
I was going to say, hit voices.
Yeah, my wife. I love you, Julia, but you're loud. They want to hear what you're saying. So when they're interested and they're willing to hear what you're saying, and now you get a rapport, and they're like, okay, yes.
Now, how did you feel when
that makes me feel great?
We were eating, and I saw the look on his face. He just I could tell when he's not there. And I said, well, what's the matter? And then he said, the tinnitus is bothering him. And I said, reconcentrate on my voice. You want to know that he put a smile on his face because he realized he got through me. Yeah. He got through to me. And now I'm throwing it back at him. And he's like, well, he felt good because, first of all, he taught me something. And he also felt good because now I'm giving him the lesson again.
I was like, son of a bitch. I'm like, you're right.
And they were like, duh. So again, help others feel better.
Yeah.
You will too.
You don't know. Nobody
has volunteer. We're both retired. We apply our time. Why not? The time is our commodity that we have to offer to people now. And John has time and I have time. We volunteer and help others. And I got to tell you, I feel better about myself too, So it's a positive thing. Get out there and help others. And I think
that's a great
start that. That's just, and I asked John,
But don't do it. Don't do it with the intention of I'm going to help you because I want to feel better.
Yeah, it's not a therapy.
No.
Yeah.
So do it with the intention of I'm going to help you because I want to help you. And then, like what I was saying before with mindfulness, how the side effect of mindfulness is feeling better. If you help people genuinely, but again, I'll say this, life, the universe, and your mind are smarter than you are. So don't fucking try to trick them because you're not going to trick it. If you genuinely aren't trying to help somebody, you're not going to get that, as we say, that good, that vibe back. Yeah. That wow, I just did something nice to this person, and it makes me feel good. But I didn't do it because I want to feel good. I'm just getting this as a reward for what I did. There's a difference between that and saying, all right, so if I help people, I'm going to feel better. It's weirdly,
it's a mindset.
It's a mindset, but it doesn't work that. But it doesn't work that way. Yeah,
let me. It just changes your whole aura.
It does, but it's and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. And this is where I say the universe, God is always they like they know it knows your intentions when you do something. Are they pure?
Yes.
In other words, am I doing this for the proper reason? Like, am I practicing this because I just want to be in a better place? I want to learn how to watch my mind, or am I doing it just to feel better? If you're doing it just to feel better, unfortunately, you get caught in a trap because you're still attached to your mind. If you're doing it because I want to understand how this works, I want to see things differently. Guess what? You're going to get rewards along the way. Same thing with helping people. If I'm going to help somebody, but I'm helping you. Like, hey, John, do you mind if we sit down and we talk? And I'll go to a coffee shop. It's very inconvenient for me to go maybe and spend 3 hours with this person. I'm not getting paid for it at all. But I know that person leaves that coffee shop
better.
And they're like, okay, I just left with a world of information I didn't have. I see life so much differently right now. I'm understanding things. Like, you opened the door and you said that way. That's it.
How'd that make you feel though?
Okay, so I felt like, I did I help? I don't, not to use I pulled somebody off the ledge, but did I help pull somebody back off the ledge? Did I tell somebody, wait, stop looking that way? I'm not telling you where this ends, but look down that road. And they just, okay, and they follow and they listen. And I feel like, okay, wow, I redirected somebody's life a little bit. I've given them a chance.
My advice in giving that volunteer thing is it's another step. It's just another step to feeling better. And a lot of people don't realize that making others feel better will make you feel better. Like John said, he had examples of how he's, helped people. And although it's inconvenient for him when he's done, it's like, oh my God, I think I got through to them, and I think they feel better.
That's rewarding.
Yes,
that's the rewarding part.
So that could be a step in your therapy. Not only, besides, having John or training.
But I wouldn't mind getting paid. I love everybody. Don't get me wrong.
But it's another tool in your toolbox. Why not try it? A little something. What do we don't an hour we go pick up some stuff with our pickup trucks at Walmart and we deliver it to a food pantry so people can line up and get food.
Was it like pay it forward? That whole pay it forward thing with Kevin Spacey?
It's all paying it forward. But you know what? You want to know where it hit me? When you see the people line up to receive the food and you see these people with families and stuff, because we're just dropping off stuff that they give us.
There's a bunch of people who work there who do a phenomenal job.
They do fantastic.
And New Life Food Pantry.
But when you see the people lining up, that's when you start to feel good about yourself. You see the little kid on the horse get a smile on his face because I did something I never did before.
You feel like you're part of something that's making somebody's life better. And for me,
and what are you doing? You're redirecting.
For me, I could, like, you could tell me if your life is going to be nothing but making somebody else's life better, would you be okay with that? Never mind fame or fortune. I would say I would take making somebody's life better any day over the week. Then I need to have the accolades because the accolades don't tickle me at all, like help. And like when I know that a genuine person has been helped. There's a
Can I just fit something in? Tell me if you feel bad about your life for that hour you're walking around with a kid who's handicapped on a horse and he's smiling at you and he's happy. You tell me if you feel bad about your life while you're doing that.
Well, hold on a second.
You'd be hard-pressed to tell me that you will, because it's such an awesome feeling.
Oh, okay.
And that's the kind of feelings you want to have. Are those good feelings? Those feelings of accomplishment, those feelings of, I feel like shit, but I'm going to go help this kid out and make him feel good. Because you know what? When you walk out of there and you see he's doing better week by week, you feel better. You do. Believe me, you do.
There's I'm going to say spiritual teacher. His name is Shi Hengi, I think it's pronounced. He's on Instagram.
Common spelling?
Huh?
Common spelling?
I'm
kidding. Yeah.
He's on Instagram, and I've been following him for a while. I don't know. He's a martial artist, but he's also, I don't know if he's not Buddhist, but he's a spiritual teacher. Anyway, he had a post. He has a whole production, right? These people have production, which is great, but their messages are empowering. So I'm all for that stuff. He had one post where he goes, "It is not important in life that you are the best at karate, or you are the best at this, or you're the best at your job, or you're the most important person in the world, or you have the most money, or you have been the most successful." He goes, "But what is important?" He goes, "The one thing at the end of it all that is important," he goes, "have you reduced the suffering of those around you?
Have you been a good human being?"
Yeah, he goes, "Have you reduced the suffering of those around you?" He goes, "That is the ultimate purpose in life." He goes, "If you have achieved that," he goes, "the rest does not matter." And when I heard that, I was like, that resonated true. I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like, sure, you should still have goals and want to do successful things in life. I'm not saying that, but
I also think it's a part of redirecting. Listen, if you feel like crap and you're getting out and you're volunteering and you're helping people, good luck still feeling like crap while you're doing it, because you won't. It's a good feel, and you're taking it from a guy who's who I've seen the worst of society. Believe me. And it feels good to me. It'll feel good to anyone. So you're redirecting from thinking about maybe how bad things are for you, or that common problem, or whatever it might be that's bringing you down. You're not thinking about it for that hour when you're helping someone else. You just
but
it is a redirection.
It's a redirection. But so here,
I'm not saying you don't think about it. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. So don't try not to think about it.
So see here,
but it's hard.
A lot of times we get uber positive when we're talking, and it frames. It could frame somebody to
saying,
yeah. It could frame somebody. Yeah. It could frame somebody to think.
I use the wrong word.
Well, hold on a second. My God, that's Henry used to say. I do. I swear to God.
Because you know what?
Henry says the same thing to me.
Because he makes
so weird.
Good luck not seeing a face on him when you say something like, he don't accept. It makes a face, and you're like, oh boy, I said a word I shouldn't have.
It's not that I don't accept it. I accept it.
I know you.
But I'm like, okay, let me impart some wisdom now. Yeah. Let me enlighten. Let me show the difference, because you know why.
And sometimes you're using a common word like luck, and he's like,
but you know why I say that? Yeah. You know, because language for me was
huge
in me looking at life differently.
It is.
Huge, because not everybody could just think and say, I'm going to think and think and think. And they're okay just constantly thinking their way out of things. I'm like, I don't want to think my way out of things.
But like John said before, I'm just using volunteering. Don't volunteer to not think about things. Go and volunteer because you want to help people.
That's what I was going to get at.
What's the end result?
Don't do that good deed.
The end result of that is you probably won't be thinking about the things that are bothering you most.
Yes, but it's again, those issues don't go away because life is life.
Well, just like
they might be there.
Just like the drip of sweat or the tinnitus. It's there. It's there while you walk. Let's say you're walking the kid on the horse. It's there. But let me tell you something.
But you can't always.
You interact with with the kid, and it just goes to the back of your head.
It goes to the back of your head. But so this is where, like, if I'm doing a coaching session with somebody, I go in deep, and I'm like, all right, that's great that you did that, and I'm all for that. I love that. But when you're done with that, are you going to be able to sit with those thoughts in your mind when you're not busy?
True.
So that see that's the kicker. Like, when I'm really busy, there's times I don't hear my tinnitus at all. Like, gone. The second I get quiet and I'm not doing nothing, it comes back. Now,
redirect.
Hold on. You can redirect, but I'm not. I do redirect, but not with the intention of making the noise go away.
Gotcha.
With the intention of living my life. A side effect of living my life is, at times, not all the time, but at times, even when, like, even now, I'll hear it come in and out, in and out. It doesn't, I'm not doing it with the intention of making the noise go away. I'm doing it with the intention of, I'm going to live my life as if I didn't have the noise. I'm going to live so like, if that thought wasn't there, what would you be doing right now? I'd be, okay, so why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? Because that thought's there? Because the noise is there? Because, I mean, I get it. There's going to be physical limitations to certain things in life. Understood. Like, if you have a pain and listen, I just can't because I have a busted knee. Okay, we're not telling you to walk through a busted knee. Yeah. But are there other things you can do that you would do if that situation wasn't there? Yes. So why aren't we living our life that way? That is where I kind of say, all right, it's not just about doing it when it's not there because we're occupied. When we're not occupied, are we going to be able to? And this is where, I hate to use the word levels with this. This is where you go from, like, because there really is no levels. But I think this is where you go
We
from.
spoke about levels.
Yeah,
there are different levels of thing that can crush you and will take longer to work on. It could be something that doesn't take.
But the entry point is still always the same.
Correct.
The entry point is the same. You might
some might just take more work than others.
Something might be a heavier thing to kind of.
If your father dies or a buddy that you spoke to 20 years ago dies, it's two different.
So here's the difference: is this situation is from here to here while I'm being present and still doing the things I want to do in life. Your situation, okay, maybe it's got to take a little bit longer, but you can still be present throughout the whole
process. Is the same
process. Now, how long that lasts for you? Tinnitus it could be the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Should I dig a hole? And I mean, don't get me wrong. The thought was there years ago. I mean, in the beginning, what am I going to do? How can I live with this? Blah, 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 blah. I want to live my life anyway. So what am I going to do? Not live? No, I choose to live my life how I want to live my life in this moment. I want to live my life. And the symptom of that is the mind eventually starts paying attention to whatever story it's created. As long as you're doing it with the intention of not occupying yourself to get away from something. That doesn't work because all that does is that's holding a balloon underwater. And when you let go of the balloon, you get a lot of water in the balloon in your face because it's a rebound effect. It will rebound. It's okay. Now I'm not occupied, but now I'm going to sit here with you. Okay. Because you can't have something to do all the time.
Journey and positivity. And I think things will work out good. I honestly do.
Yep. And we hit an hour.
Was a great session, man. I had a lot of fun, actually.
That'll be $100.
Thank you. Joking. Thank you, Henry. Thanks for letting me sit in with my buddy John. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I had a good time. So,
so thank you again.
Yeah.
And to everybody out there who was listening, enjoy your journey, pal.
Yeah.
Enjoy your journey. Because that's what it is. It's a journey.
It is.
Welcome aboard.
Like the the group Journey.
That's it.
Steven Tyler? No. Stephen Perry. I'm sorry, Stephen Perry.
Smith.
Stephen Perry. The wheels in the sky keep on turning.
Don't know where I'll be tomorrow.
Don't know where I'll be tomorrow. I'm sorry that
showing how old we are.
I'm sorry that I'm singing because I know I can't.
We're all sorry.
And my wife is probably going to laugh when she hears this. All right.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. And thank you everybody for listening. I will try to get this up in the next day or so, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Enjoy your journey. Thank you again.
Peace out, guys. Have a great day. The insights and discussions that we speak about on our show are our own opinions and based on our life experiences. If you or someone in your family or someone you know is suffering and in need of help, please get them that help through medical attention or seeking proper therapy. Again, what we speak about are based on our experiences and not intended to be taken as a form of therapy. Thank you.